buenos días, buenas tardes, or buenas noches, depende de la hora. Right now I'd like to talk to you about how to go about responding to questions and forming these basically responses and how to add more to them. So basically I want you to start with keeping it simple. So when we have a question, and this question you're going to see frequently, ¿Qué haces? ¿Qué haces? Haces comes from the verb hacer, to do, is the most common way to translate that. So basically we're asking, what do you do? Now there's another item there too. Notice in English we add the word do, because I said it twice. What do you do? The first do has no other purpose but to let you know that I'm asking you a question. Do you do? In Spanish, what do we use in place of this do? When we talk about past tense, it's did. What do we use instead that lets the person that we're communicating with know, hey, I want information from you. This is a question. So yes, if you said we use the upside down question mark, you were correct. So that first do has nothing more to do in that comment than an upside down question mark in Spanish. If we think about it, if you were to come in at English and look at it word for word, that do doesn't make any sense at all. But an upside down question mark is a symbol of an upcoming question. So when you go to create questions, realize please that this is our do. What do you do is the haces, and then the ending question mark for punctuation. So that's a big one. All right, that's why we start with an upside down question mark in Spanish, and it's essential. In English we toss in an extra word. In Spanish it's extra punctuation. All right, so how do we go about responding to this type of a question? Well, ¿qué haces? What I want you to be doing is focusing in on a verb that you know that could answer it. So I'm going to randomly state some verbs that could go there. Esquiar, jugar al fútbol, cocinar, correr, cantar, montar en bicicleta. These are just all some possible ideas. So even if I don't do really any of those very often, those are the Spanish words that came to mind. So what I want to do then is pick the most accurate one for me. Okay, so it's not about thinking about what's the most accurate in English to find the Spanish. It's think about what I can say in Spanish, and then from what I can say in Spanish, choose the thing that is the most appropriate. So of these things, what do? Well, I don't ski very much anymore. I don't play a lot of soccer anymore. I run some. I don't sing a lot. I do like to ride on my bike. So I think I'm going to choose either correr or montar. So to respond to this, I can't just start. So I'm going to say correr y montar en bicicleta because I came up with two. Now, as it is, correr y montar, it doesn't say who does this action or when I do this action or when that person does it. That's when we conjugate the ending. So remember to conjugate the ending, we have to get rid of the ending, the ER in that case and the AR in this case. Now, I'm talking about yo, about myself, yo, because the question was about tú. So whoever was asking the question is asking me about myself. Yo. What's the typical ending for yo? It's the same, it rhymes with yo, it's o. So I'm going to take these ERs and the AR, both of them, because these are regular verbs, and I'm going to replace it with an O. Corro. Y monto en bicicleta. Now I have a period, a complete sentence. So some of you are saying, but what about the yo? I can choose to use the yo or not. It doesn't matter because the ending as it is only fits for myself in the present tense. This is what I do. I run and I ride my bike. All right. Now, if I want to add more, that's where I want you to start. This is where you could end. But the whole can you add more becomes then maybe who do I ride my bike with? Con mi familia. It could be when, los fines de semana. It could be, so I might want to think of the con quién or who. It could be cuando or when. It could be, we're going to be getting donde. We know escuela, casa, those are possibilities. We don't have a lot with that one yet, but it'll be coming. Donde, where, why, por qué, porque soy atlética. So some of the ways I could add to this would be yo or corro y monto en bicicleta con mi familia. That's one way. Cuando? Oops. Los fines de semana. This was what we looked at last semester. We used the los or el to say on the weekends, but we don't actually use on. Okay, so don't translate word for word. Los lunes, los martes. ¿Dónde? En las montañas. That's kind of a word many of you know. Or why? Porque soy atlética. And then why did I use an A? Because I'm feminine. I'm a female, so I have to change atlético to atlética to match me. The verb ending has nothing to do with my gender, has everything to do with just me talking about myself. That's why it's O. But the adjective has to have an A. Adjectives have to have an A because I'm referring back to myself. Now, I could also say, soy una persona atlética. This is something that you're going to be seeing more or have seen and will be responsible for being able to do as you practice. Notice that the adjective comes after what's being described. So I'm an athletic person. If we think about it in English, it makes more sense to have the subject, the noun first, so I can start visualizing the item and then tweaking it. Instead of saying, I have a pink and yellow, fuzzy, warm duck. How many of you were thinking of a duck? Not likely. But in Spanish, the duck would have come first, and then it would have started to change colors, then it would have started to have a pattern. That's the idea. Okay? So big things to think about. When you're responding to a question, well, first of all, when you're creating a question, use an upside down question mark to start it off. And do not try and add a do in there. Think about when you're responding, verbs that you can talk about, that you can use. Then choose the most appropriate for you. Once you've chosen the verbs, make sure the endings match who is doing the action. Then think about how can you expand it. And those are the con quién, cuándo, dónde, por qué. Con, los, en, por qué. And last one, if you're using an adjective with a noun, make sure the adjective goes behind the noun. Okay? So those are some things to help you along the way. Please let me know what questions you have or if you'd like to work any with me directly about any of this. Y hasta luego.